Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. Another episode dealing with news and prophecy, going into the things happening worldwide, linking them to the Bible, all right, so that you, the believer, can be comforted and understand, all right, what times that you're in according to the Holy Scriptures, all right, before the end comes and before major prophecies come and actually hit on the planet Earth. The Lord, according to the Holy Scriptures, would send out prophets to tell you of these things before they take place. And we're living in a time where major plans are trying to be completed on the planet Earth by the left hand. And when we say the left hand, you know, that's ultimately the children of Satan. As the scriptures say, a fool's mind is at his left hand, all right, but a righteous man's mind is ultimately associated with his right hand. And the right hand of the Most High, okay, is Yahweh Shai. Okay, your integrity, all right. So the children of Satan operate on the left-hand side, all right, and they have some very, very deeply wicked plans, all right, to ultimately attain Godhead on the planet Earth. And as they're trying to fully sustain it and establish it, they're being met with issues, which goes into the scriptures that they would be in straits. All right, and I have this pulled up here before we get started because I'm starting to get strikes on a more rapid pace. So pretty soon, this page, my backup page, may be gone. Okay, so you have to keep your ears to the streets. You have to stay in tune. Okay, because I wasn't loading on my main page. All right, this page, the Remnant Save 144. All right, in particular, people were wondering, well, where am I loading? Well, all you would have to do is look at the page, and it says clearly subscribe to my backup page. That's why you have to be in tune, all right? But the crazy part about it is now this page is striked. So with the new legislation that's getting ready to be passed and that they're pushing to pass, all right, what we're teaching and the way we teach will be labeled domestic terrorism. So subscribe to these pages. All right. If you don't see me loading here 2, 3, 4, 5 days, then you have to look here on these pages. Maybe I'm loading there. Or if you go to the about section on my page, okay, you'll see the link to my Odyssey. All right, you go down the links, you'll see my Odyssey, my other page, BitChute, and other pages, where I can possibly be loading. Okay, so we're living in a time where you have to stay tuned. You have to be in tune. All right, of course, if the page is deleted, you're going to have to look at other brothers' pages and they'll post, all right, this is such and such new page, subscribe. Okay, so you got to be in the loop. All right. But the Heavenly Father is going to feed his sheep how he sees fit. OK, no matter what when they take, YouTube down. All right. Or outlaws from YouTube. Hey, the sheep are still going to be fed. But we know, according to prophecy, there's going to be a point where there's going to be a famine of the word. As a matter of fact, let's start there. In the book of Amos. Okay. Let's see here. All right, this is the book of Amos. We'll go back to that precept I had there. And as a matter of fact, I'll start here. This is 2 Peter's chapter 1 and 19. It says, we have also a more sure word of prophecy. And see, the prophecies are what has Esau on edge. The fact that what we're saying is actually happening. All right. People of our nation are repenting. No one trusts them. That's because of prophecy. Because what does the scripture say? In the latter days, Esau would be destroyed by the spirit of the Lord's mouth, which are the prophets, and then he'd be destroyed by the brightness of his coming, which is those chariots. But the word of the Lord's mouth is going to lead to what? All right, him, issuing forth, all right, what John the Revelator saw. Okay, we already know what that is. If you don't know, read Revelation, the 13th chapter, and then World War III. All right, Gog and Magog, along with, a lot of EU and NATO nations turning on Babylon the Great. Okay, so prophecy or the prophets is the most important office on the planet Earth. Okay, because the prophets are sent here, okay, to not only fill the remnant with the oracles, all right, but also tell these nations their fate and speak the end into existence. It's a very powerful lot. And Jake sometimes get bored with prophecy. All right. And if you notice, sometimes we have to, focus on, and that's been, lately we've been focusing on these camps, the apostasy and the wicked doctrines that are being spread. All right. But we got to make sure that we're sticking tuned to prophecy as well. Okay. It says we also have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, unto the day dawn and the day star arise in your heart. Meaning when the Lord eventually, because we're speaking his return into existence as well. All right. And that day is coming. All right. When he's going to what? Change us, man. Call us up and change us and give us that day star, meaning the law, statutes, and commandments, the light being written in us. Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. Okay, and you notice when you try to focus on prophecy, Israel's not interested. Okay, the Christians aren't interested. Okay, the Catholics aren't interested. Nobody wants to go into this book and deal with the prophecies because the prophecies condemn this current world. Okay, and there's no private interpretation. We should be able to go into the prophecies and say, this is why this is happening. Okay, this is why that's happening. This explains this, that explains that. Okay, and what that does is it sheds light on the evil and wickedness that rules this world, and it's starting to bother them. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of the Most High spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit, and they wrote these things down. And the Lord, the Most High God, Yahweh, all right, through his word, through his only begotten son, made sure that we would have it in these latter days in the English or whatever other languages we speak, which they're stumbling blocks in the English. All right. But he's given us the spirit to go into the original languages and make sense of it all. And you have people still making this argument, well, man wrote the Bible. Well, man wrote every book that you have. All right. But how were they divinely inspired when they wrote these books? By the Most High God, Yahweh, through Yahweh Shai? That's the Bible. Okay. That's what we have in these latter days. And the Heavenly Father has given us the understanding to go into these things, starting with our apostles and elders, man. So we're living in a time where these words are now frustrating the powers that be. As we always read, okay, the king of Babylon is hurt. And who's the king of Babylon? Not, okay, Marty, all right, or Donna that you work with, or your racist neighbor who can't stand you, or just regular Edomites who look at you with a side eye. And no, the king of Babylon are the elites of this world. Okay, and they're lesser elites that they set up and put before you to confuse you. That's really who we're talking about. That's who we're worried about. Okay, the mass majority of these lower level Edomites are going to be dissolved in fire. We ain't worried about them. Okay, they're slaves just like us. They just hate us. Okay, well, we understand, going back to Jacob and Esau, they're supposed to hate us. We're supposed to be friction. They're supposed to, use the power that they've been given in this system of Edomite supremacy to look down upon you or do harm to you. That's all explained in the Bible. But the king of Babylon, as we read here, see, when this thing falls, it's going to be the king of Babylon that we're going to be rejoicing over. Let's get that. Isaiah, the 14th chapter. And when we get redeemed out of this bondage that we were made to serve, Isaiah 14:4, 144, call Halal Yahweh Shemiah Shah, says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked, which are the Edomites, and the scepter of the rulers. Okay? So before that, we would be prophesying of that day. So this is Jeremiah 50:43. The king of Babylon have heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. See that? Anguish took hold of him, as pangs as of a woman in travail. He's hurt. Okay? As a matter of fact, let's get that in the NLT. Salakia. We'll get this in the NLT. Verse 43. Jeremiah 50:43, it says, the king of Babylon has heard reports about the enemy. And who is he hearing that through? Ultimately, the prophets. We're speaking these things into existence. So he's starting to see, damn, with everything that they're saying is really starting to happen. And they're making sense. How do we stop this? How do we demonize it? Let's set them up. Let's set up a pseudo-Israelite group to make mockery of the truth. Okay, because they have the power and the influence to do that. But it's not going to work. But they're going to still try. It says, and is weak with fright, pangs of anguish have gripped him like those of a woman in labor. Okay. So that's why the scriptures say in Job 20:22, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Straits is a position of difficulty because now they have to figure out a way to shut down the speech that is testifying that they're going to do these things. You see, that are testifying who they really are, who the nations really are, why this is all happening. Testifying of the kingdom of heaven. Excuse me. They have to try to figure out a way to shut that speech down. And that's just one of many straits that they're in. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And we know that word wicked is laborer. So your average everyday laborer and worker, okay, is now looking at them some type of way. And how can a master rule, all right, when his slaves are rebelling against him? Okay, see that word wicked? I maul, all right? Labor, workmen, suffer. And that's primarily Jake. You see? Jake is the backbone of Esau's system flowing, man. So, let's get this precept here. This is Job 15:29. He shall not be rich, neither shall his substance continue, neither shall he prolong the perfection thereof upon the earth. Okay? Job 18:7, the steps of his strength shall be straightened. And this is why the likes of Carl Schwab are saying what? We need to hurry up. That's why climate control is going to be the new crisis. CO2 emission. Okay? Subtly, they're already pushing these things. And that's going to be the next crisis because if you look around, what's happening with the other stuff they had going on? It didn't work. Okay? And we told you it was going to be sloppy, it was going to be tacky, but they didn't give a damn. So the likes of ISUPK who told their congregation to go out and, drink the Tampico. Now what? Okay? Now what? because they're changing, okay, the so-called science, okay, every other day, every other week. So they're in straits, okay? Verse 23 in Job 20, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and he shall rain it upon him while he is eating. And he's trying to set up that last bite, okay? But what he needs is cooperation. He doesn't need people to say things that will make others question. So what you see happening now, jumping to this, and this is off of a government website, okay? This terrorism threat. Why are they doing this? Okay, and what is it? Okay, the Earn It Act is back. Here's what people are saying. Now, what I did was I have 2 videos pulled up. Call for an uprising in the Hill, and we're going to listen to what exactly this is and what their aim is with this bill. Because I remember it was presented maybe in 2020, but it kind of got, trodden down. Nobody really was for it. But we're living in a time where they're going to have to pass these unrighteous decrees. Okay. And who are they going to put? What are they going to do to get people to accept of it? Play on your emotions, bring up things like children. This is here to protect the children. Children are now seeing all of this. Now look at all of the stuff that YouTube allows children to see in this world, period. Look at what's in the cartoons. Look at what's on regular everyday TV. Now you're worried about what children have access to here? No, the bottom line is you're being exposed. Let's play this.
It's not a personal blog, but websites like that where they could actually throw you off the internet because they feel like you could be a threat in some way. That's what it's leading towards, but they're using children up front to bring in this censorship. So the controversial bill, how tech platforms and websites handle child, has cleared the hurdle on Thursday as a Senate panel voted to approve the legislation despite vocal objections from civil rights groups who say the proposal as written will backfire and harm all internet users, which is true. And again, you all know that I'm obviously 100,000,000% for protecting the children. They do nothing to protect children. It's pretty easy to find, like I've mentioned recently about certain person's Instagram posts. I mean, that would be enough for them to bring somebody in for questioning because they were so disturbing. And you can look at it all, we see stuff here on YouTube that's allowed up, that's disgusting and creepy.
Yep.
And they leave it up. This is about, they don't care about the kids. This is how you bring in legislation. You use the kids as a crux and you say, look, we're doing this for the kids. And then, now that we've loosened the rules here, let's begin regulating what people are saying. Because obviously the big threat, and even according to Homeland Security as of this week, is misinformation. If you're the new Taliban, people like us are considered the new Taliban because misinformation, even though we have a difference of opinion, even though it's not even an opinion.
And this devil is the king of misinformation. Pseudoscience is what runs this whole damn society. Anyway.
What we're giving, it's fact. They've labeled this in people's eyes so people consider us dangerous because they just believe what they hear. And the more they beat it into their heads, suddenly we live in a world where people aren't afraid of the boogeyman in the cave. They're afraid of people talking online and having a different.
And if you notice, they keep a boogeyman in your face, whether it's a actual person, something created in a lab. They keep a boogeyman in your face. Points of view, and this is what people like Trump were set up for. Joe Rogan, Whoopi Goldberg. You see, slowly but surely, the true issues have been swept under the rug. Now, all right, people having the freedom to say what they want is the issue. Why are they doing this? Why would they go this far? It's because, as the scriptures say, they hate him that reproveth in the gate. Let's get that. This is the book of Amos 5:10. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate. Israel hates the prophets. So how much more do you think Esau okay, who runs this whole world, hates the prophets. This word is changing the whole course of the world. And the scriptures say he would be overcome by a particular testimony. Okay? So the mere speech, the mere word is overcoming this devil, and it has him fumbling and rambling around looking for what, and he's getting ready to make a move. That's why you are about to see more and more weird things going on in Israel, more and more confusion being pushed. Okay? If you look at a lot of Israelites, the focus ain't on E. Okay, he sets them up to say controversial things, and we have to deal with them. Okay, to where he can slip and slide and but the prophets are going to stay on your ass. Okay, it says they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. Both Israel and the heathen hates the prophets, man. Okay, so what they're going to do is use and play on people's emotions to get the people to accept legislation that takes away freedom of speech. And we're seeing it. Okay, they're striking videos that are private, meaning they're hurt, breaking their own laws. Remember, America was the great thing about America was supposedly the freedom to say what you want, right? Or to have a difference of opinion without, being locked away. You go over into these other go to Russia or China and speak against the government. Okay, they're going to be knocking at your door. But America was supposed to be this place of freedom. You can believe what you want. You can say what you want. You can have your own opinion. But we're starting to see that really that's only geared towards people who do wickedness. If you want to speak up in righteousness and speak against wickedness, you're getting ready to be outlawed. And that's what this whole thing is all about. Okay? It says the United States remains in a heightened threat environment fueled by several factors, including online environment filled with false or misleading narratives and sea theories. Now, whenever you look up something dealing with wickedness they got going on, you'll notice fact check now. Everything needs to be fact checked. And you do have to fact check particular things. All right, but there's a reason for that. Okay? So that's now the new threat of terror. Terror is now misleading narratives. Okay, introduced and or amplified by foreign and domestic threat actors. These threat actors seek to exacerbate societal friction to sow discord and undermine public trust in the government institutions to encourage unrest. So they're saying now people who have these pages and platforms where they're speaking against the things that we're trying to do, they're sowing discord. See, this is them acting as the Most High. See, there's 6 things the Most High hate, and discord is one of them. Well, on the left-hand side, they're saying these are the things we hate. And nobody, the elites, the one you don't even see them, and that's all people talk about is how wicked they are. Look at Joe Biden. Nobody look at what you see before you. People don't trust these people no more. Hell, it wouldn't even have to be because of the so-called misleading narratives. All you would have to do is look and use so-called common or good sense, and you'd be like, man, something is up. And how tacky and uncouth you're being about trying to bring about these things, it only opens it up for people to clearly see that you're the devil. Let's see here. It says, which could potentially inspire acts of violence. So they're going to say that we're enticing violence. That's why you have the likes of Vocab Malone set up. You have particular Israelite groups set up, and all of these narratives are going to be used to say we're enticing violence, as well as people with everyday platforms on YouTube outside of Israelites. Hammers coming down on everyone. Okay, the beauty of it is that the elect, the remnant, are the ones that's going to make it out of it. Okay? It says mass casualty attacks and other acts of targeted violence conducted by lone offenders in small groups acting, basically saying we're actors, in furtherance of ideological beliefs or personal grievances pose an ongoing threat to the nation. So people who feel like they were messed over, who have grievances with the government or with the United States, okay, they're the threat. And the Israelites, boy, oh boy, we sure do have a grievance. But the thing is, we're not saying we ourselves are going to take you down. We're going to form a coup and try to, but that's the narrative they're going to push. Okay. Let's see here. Misleading narratives, yada, yada, yada. Calls by foreign terrorist organizations to make attacks on the United States based on recent events. So when you go into a prophecy like Gog and Magog, which is Russia, they're saying you're calling them to do these particular attacks on America. Okay? So this word is getting ready to ultimately be cut off at some point here in Babylon. Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine for bread, nor a famine of water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. See that? One day you're going to be on the internet trying to make sense of the everything that you're seeing. The whole time the prophets were on the scene, you sat there and played around. You just on Instagram, living this celebrity Israelite lifestyle, into the latest fashion of Israelites and the rap and this, and you never really, got yourself well acquainted with the prophets or the true prophecy or the true intent of Yahweh through Yahweh Shai and what's really happening here. So when the people who sold towards the flesh start to see the restrictions and things going down, okay, they're only gonna what? Bow. They're only gonna give in because all they've sold towards is the flesh. And this NWO is gonna be a big play on your flesh. So you're gonna look for understanding. You're gonna be looking for the words of the Lord, and all you're gonna see is one body Yahweh Shai screaming, telling you ain't no miracles, telling you not to worry about these devices and things that the powers that be are going to be issuing forth. Don't worry about that. They just be against white Jesus, but anything else they come with, take it. See that? And they shall wander from sea to sea and from the north even to the east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, but you shall not find it. And E is going to be very, very, all right, he's going to be, the way he's going to do it is going to be, he's a demon. He's an intelligent, all right, very wicked, all right, intelligent man. He's very, very deceptive. So he's going to allow particular videos to be up or particular representations of Israelites to be up. And it ain't going to have anything to do with the truth. They're going to be talking about marriage, telling you everything will be all right, telling you it's okay to put, take whatever they saying, take. See that? But the true prophets are going to be silenced. Okay? So you're going to be hurt and you're going to be looking for the word of the Lord. You're not going to find it because unrighteous decrees, real quick, unrighteous decrees are getting ready to be passed. Isaiah 10:1, woe unto them. And this is saying Assyria as God's instrument. And the Assyrians, all right, in spirit today are the Edomites. What were the Assyrians known for? Their military might. Okay, their strict way of ruling. Will make you think Jake got on that boat to come over to the Americas. It was like, to hell with this. The northern kingdom. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment. And see, through this word, true justice is coming for the Israelites. They don't want that. So they want to take away the right from the poor of the Lord, the Israelites, that widows may be their prey, which, all right, killing off the men, binding the strong men, getting the women under their way of thinking has helped them forward their enterprise. But now Jake is waking up and they're like, hell no. All right. Even Jake, who's lost as to who they are, they're questioning things. See? And these things are all prophecies that they can't stop. That widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. And what will ye do in the day of visitation and in the desolation that shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help, and where will ye leave your glory? Okay? And this is speaking of Jake and the corrupt leaders and how the Lord was going to judge them. But though all these curses and things, these now fall on you Edomites. Okay? You have what? Set these unrighteous decrees up, and then you put in place false flags and play with people's intelligence and emotions to justify bringing them forth. You already had these particular things set. And now the fact that your evil is being heightened, you say, oh, hell no, we got to figure out a way to stop this. But what are we going to do? Let's act like it's about protecting the children. All right? But but really, you don't give a damn about protecting children. Hell, you allow. I'll just leave that alone, man. Let's just say the Roman Catholic Church. Let's keep listening.
A perspective on things and questioning what Big Brother's doing. But that's another video I'll cover with the Homeland Security Act, or the Homeland Security warning that they put up this week. But the legislation is known as the Earn It Act of 2022. It's been passed. It's reignited the debate over tech platforms' legal protections under federal law. And by being passed, I mean it's being passed. It's gone through the next stage in the Senate of approval, which means, it has to go up for vote, and it can go up for vote at any time. That's why people need to become aware and push back so they ease off a little bit here. It comes as U.S. lawmakers have increasingly pushed to amend Section 230 of the Communications Act of 1934, which tech platforms have cited for years to duck lawsuits over the user-created content they host on their website. So in other words, YouTube can't be sued over, videos of people like me or you or whoever else. If they come up with some type of psyop, they're protected. Well, now if they push a law like this, YouTube can be sued. So then what that means is that YouTube and all these other places will crack down way, way more than they already are.
So YouTube, okay, what they're gonna do is say, well, because of these laws, now we're getting fined because we allow this, we allow that, so we got to take you off. See that? And it's all ultimately because what? Prophecy. Isaiah 29:20, for the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. And people are losing. Judgment's going out. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. Okay, and what is reproof? Correction. And turn aside the just for a thing of naught. And you best believe this is all aimed at the truth of what's coming out according to the Israelites, the remnant. However, even everyday Americans like this guy, all right, who what seems to be an Edomite, but his platform is used to what? warn you about the evil. I mean, he just did a video. He's already exposing the Super Bowl ads and commercials, and because they're becoming more blatant with their plans. And see, that's according to the times they're in prophecy. They have to come with it. So they need to be more emboldened in their plan, but they still have to use deception. Okay? It's likened unto Pharaoh after Aaron, performed a magical act. And ultimately, what did it say? Aaron is your prophet. See, those signs and wonders and those miracles are being performed through what? Us merely speaking things into existence. But see, on the left-hand side, he now is speaking things into existence. Okay? Putting things in encrypting and hiding stuff. So he's getting caught out there, man.
And pretty much any conspiracy, even talking about Sasquatch or anything like that, will be taken off the internet because they'll say it's dangerous because we don't want to get sued for you making up things in your head and putting it on the internet. Everything has to be 100% factually based, and that's only according to what we say is facts because no one else has facts except for these lying talking heads on the TV who are so bad at their job that they've managed to create pushback at a time where they should have total control right now, but
they're behind in their plan, and they're gonna blame the fact that people just don't trust us. And the reason people don't trust us is because all of this misleading content online that we've allowed. So now the game is gonna be, well, YouTube is we're getting fined for allowing this platform, this kind of platform. So everything is getting ready to be silenced. And all out tyranny is getting ready to be implemented. This is Isaiah 46:10. Okay, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. So here it is, as the book of Habakkuk said. What did Habakkuk say? Habakkuk 2:3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come and it will not tarry. That's speaking of all the prophecies. Okay, and Habakkuk was asking, Lord, how are you going to end all of this evil going on, all of the unrighteous judgments, the law being slacked, okay, the righteous being trodden down and mistreated? How are you going to end it? Well, we know according to prophecy, that's through what? Babylon the Great being destroyed. So we're at that point where all of these prophecies are speaking. Okay, and the final two, okay, the three, you got Israel, the remnant waking up. All right, the MOTB, World War III, which we are speaking all of those things into existence. See, and the Lord said he ain't going to allow the full judgment and fury to come on this place until what? Until the elect are awakened, sealed. Isaiah 48:5, I have even from the beginning declared it to thee. Before it came to pass, I showed it to thee, lest thou shouldst say, mine idol have done them, and my graven image and my molten image have commanded them. See, we're standing up and saying, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai are the reason these things are happening. They, on the left hand, hide things in their movies, their books, and they want to attribute these things to themselves to make it to seem like they're in control, but they're running out of power. Those demons are fleeing them. They're being found out to be liars. So they hate him that rebuketh in the gate. They hate him that are declaring these things through the spirit and power of Yahweh, through Yahweh Shai, through the men of the Lord. Okay, they hate it. They're mad. Okay. Let's see here. Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. Isaiah 42:9, behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. And, one of the things that John the Revelator saw was tyranny, which links this Babylon to the first Babel, Tower of Babel, under Nimrod. Okay? What does Nimrod mean? Rebellion. And when you go into it, he was a tyrant. He wanted full world control and domination. Okay? So anyone who had an opposing thought, okay, him as the God of the earth, in his mind, will be able to silence them. Let's listen to a little bit more.
Pathetic. I mean, they should maybe get the, everything they do at the Tavistock Institute, they might want to take a look at it, reevaluate the whole thing, and get a new curriculum over there, because it's absolutely pathetic. The talking heads are falling over themselves on television. But by narrowing Section 230 scope, the latest bill seeks to create more legal exposure for companies that fail to do enough to remove anything involving children. Tech platforms can...
And here it is, America is worried about children. You got millions of children that go missing annually. And that has not been declared you got to watch your wording. That hasn't been declared something, all right, to shut the world down over. Okay? All of these different institutions that constantly get caught dealing with children, PORN. Right? These places ain't shut down, investigated. So how in the hell now are you worried about children to the point you got to stop free speech? Get the F out of here, man.
Can already face criminal prosecution at the federal level for knowingly facilitating the spread of you-know-what with the children. But the legislation goes further, making it possible for states to bring civil and criminal suits on the matter as well. The bill also seeks to establish a commission which will be led by federal law enforcement charged with publishing voluntary best practices for tech platforms on how to combat you-know-what with children. It's a carrot and stick approach that effectively tells websites how they may, as the bill's name implies, earn their liability protection. Okay, they say our goal is to tell social media companies, get involved and stop this crap, and if you don't...
So they're going to make it so-called hard on these platforms, social media platforms where people are signed up saying particular things. They're going to start to act as if they're being fined for allowing you, and that's going to justify them cutting you off. Let's listen to this one as well. Controlled opposition, yet, the Esau, at the end of the day, he uses particular people within his system to expose things as well. But it all works in favor of the elect.
Unrest, which could potentially inspire acts of violence. So they're saying if you sow discord and undermine public trust in a government institution like the CDC, FDA, the Pentagon, or Congress, that could lead to violence, which could happen to, let's say, during a protest. To prevent this, you could be labeled a terrorist threat if you're found to be engaging in speech that undermines a government institution that could lead to any of these acts. So if they think your words might lead to a protest against the government, and that protest might then lead to a violent breakout, which could happen at any protest, you could be labeled domestic terrorist simply.
And you're going to have Israelites at these protests marching. What's up with that? Where did the Lord ever tell us to get involved in those things? We're supposed to stand on our watch and prophesy. That's it. All right. But you're going to have particular Israelite groups who, some just in their ignorance and some actually set up at these marches and protests doing what? Getting into the violent acts and fighting and boom. Already with ISUPK standing with the Black Panthers, that's all Esau needs to say, well, look, the Israelites and the Black Panthers are the same thing. But they're going to come even harder than that. Okay? But through it all, the Lord is going to be showing the remnant, the elect, miracles, man. Why do you think Peter and them in the book of Acts were so fervent when the persecution came? Because the mighty things that were happening associated with the persecution. So we're going to be well fed. We're going to be all right.
For dissenting. By issuing this bulletin, they've effectively given themselves the freedom to halt any dissent they don't like under the guise of it could lead to violence. They're saying it's a domestic terrorist threat and we can't have that. And I think many of us warned this was on the horizon when politicians and others in the media were calling for more to be done against misinformation. I think some of us were mocked for saying the definition of terrorism is changing and the end result will be our own government going after anyone and everyone they deem to be morally inferior. Yet here we are. The bulletin goes on to say, the convergence of the following factors has increased the volatility, unpredictability, and complexity of the threat environment. The proliferation of false or misleading narratives which sow discord or undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions. Again, you're putting yourself in the crosshairs if you sow discord or undermine public trust in government institutions. Don't talk bad about the government. It goes on to say, the primary terrorism-related threat to the United States continues to stem from lone offenders or small cells of individuals who are motivated by a range of foreign and or domestic grievances, often cultivated through the consumption of certain online content. So they're saying it could just be you. You don't need to be affiliated with a known neo-Nazi group or some other flagged organization. If you, acting alone, air grievances against the government that they deem to be potentially threatening, you could be flagged as a domestic terrorist. The bulletin continues, for example,
No, I'm not going to even let her read that. Okay, but dealing with that Crown Royale 19. All right, everything that people were saying was a seat theory and this and that, it came out to be true. But they're gonna act like, that's not that didn't happen. So, let's see if I can get past that, because you don't want to deal with anything speaking on that.
Aligned foreign powers have and continue to amplify these false or misleading narratives in efforts to damage the United States. So you see, all of this
See, it's all ultimately going to be centered around damaging the United States, right? And what is this word going to lead to? Let's get the book of Revelation, the 18th chapter. Revelation 18 and 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone. All right, which while I was around, see, I was around when the apostles, this name was put on them. They wasn't originally calling themselves that. That was something the Spirit allowed to be placed on them. Okay, but the true great millstone is Yahushai. And when you read it, it's two stones grinding things into powder, right? Okay, which ultimately is symbolic of Judah and Ephraim, the remnant that's going to awaken, starting with the servants, the prophets. But anyway, a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that city Babylon be thrown down, and it shall be found no more at all. So if they're saying, all right, particular words can be likened as threats against U.S., well, how much more they're going to come down on our message, which our message is going to, lead to actual angels, all right, returning and destroying this place, starting with Yahushai. Okay, so they're in a rock and a hard place. Okay, they have to ultimately figure out a way to demonize. All right, as a matter of fact, right here, Isaiah 29 and 21, that make a man an offender for a word and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. Okay, they're trying to block that great millstone. Okay, if you're speaking of that great millstone coming, okay, you're going to be an offender for the word that you speak. So they're laying snares for those who rebuke and reproveth in the gate. Let's look up the word reproveth. They hate him that reproveth. All right. Ya kach. It says to prove, to decide, to judge, rebuke, correct. And that's all we're doing. I mean, when you look at the acts that are taking place here, all right, we're correcting you. We're chiding, or we're arguing with you. Okay? Telling you it's wicked to stop. Psalms 37:14, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent the bow, okay, to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Okay? And boy, oh boy, when they come, it ain't going to be no regular way they come. It's going to play on people's emotions. So if you ain't rooted, the first thing you're going to do with the little, whatever they do, the first thing you're going to do is look for a reason to say, I don't believe them. And what are you going to do? You're going to seek to save your life and lose. And then they'll allow platforms like this to say things, so then you report on it, and then they try to flag you. But either way it go, the word that the Lord wants to be spoken is going to be spoken. And when he's had enough, and when he doesn't want us to speak anymore, that's when you people are in trouble. So we look for that day where it's going to be outlawed to say what we say. You think we want to do this forever? There's a whole nother glory coming. You think we want to be doing these videos every day forever? Now, we enjoy doing it because it's through the Spirit. But do you think we sit down and be like, I want to do this for eternity? No, there's gonna be a point where the Lord is like, you fulfilled your lot. Okay, now I'm gonna bring the past. All right, the things you've been saying through me, which fulfill what? His word. So it's going to be illegal because we're in a spiritual war. Let's liken it into a actual combat. Okay. Okay. They're going to make it illegal for you to throw the right hand because it keeps landing. So they're going to pass legislation to say, well, round by round, he lands the right, and I can't stop it. So I'm going to pass legislation so you can't throw the right hand. That's where they at right now. And you can look at the rest of these videos. I'm pretty sure, I've already played enough. All right. But you get the sentiment, you see, and Biden administration, all right, making list of the objectors. Okay. So pretty much they're getting ready to see who has this thought against this, who has this thought against that. And they've already been doing it. Okay. But if you are against their program, okay, things are going to get tight. Remember, we're saying Babylon is going to be destroyed. Now, we live in Babylon. So as these systems and things get ready to collapse, things are going to become tighter on our end, but that's all right. All right, that's all right. It's needed. So I'll read a few of these titles, and then I'll just finish the rest of the other articles I had in another lesson. But this is off of Blacklisted News, bombshell. See that? They don't just lie to us about wars, they lie about everything, of course. Stoking war with Russia, U.S. media is Biden's top ally. Yeah, I mean, and they're getting ready to do a lot of wickedness, man. Because that is the worst, all right? Biden and Harris, okay? But they're going to be protected. Let's see here. Will Iran strike at global oil supply if Russia invaded Ukraine? And there may be a small skirmish, but we know the end-all be-all World War III ain't happening until that charagma is declared, what you need to do. So, you still got that going on. Anyway, Lord will, y'all were edified. We'll be back with more, man. This devil ultimately is losing the info war. He's hurt. Okay, so this is what's next. All right, they want to cast down the poor and needy and destroy those who have upright conversation. So there are words that these devils are worried about. And when you go to the bottom line is this. One of my favorite scriptures. It describes everything that we see happening right now. This is Revelation 12:17. And the dragon, all right, which the dragon is speaking of Rome, but we know Rome would have been rebirthed in the latter days through America, NATO, EU. The dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have a testimony of Yahweh. So us keeping the commandments of the Most High are going to make us say no to whatever he's trying to do. And then we have a testimony, okay, of Yahweh, the volume of the book, all right, that's going to be, used as a means of victory under that blood. So this is what's next. We're here. We're close, man. Hopefully I'll edify on to the next. Shalom.